Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your Velvet Shorty, and I'm going to review something from Vault Comics today. And before we start, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Vault Comics and that you should be reading it. Basically, because they are a great company. And this past week, they've been really heavy on social media, pushing a lot of new creators that are going to be working with them, and giving some teasers about what's actually going on. Some of this sounds absolutely amazing, and I'm willing to bet that they are on their way to moving away from just being a small indie publisher to one of the more premium ones you're going to see in Diamond catalog previews world. Think about the fact that Boom, IDW, and Dynamite just a couple of years ago were pushed to the back of the magazine, but are now part of the thing at the front that you expect Image and Dark Horse to be as well. I think Vault could get there, and what I'm currently reading right now may not be the one that's going to push them over it. I will certainly admit that the faults I'm finding with it are down to the fact that I'm not necessarily a real big fan of the genre. I can get on with giant robots fighting giant monsters. It's cool. It passes some time. It's kind of popcorny for the most part. When I watch movies like that, I kind of enjoy it. When I read comic books, I tend to drift away after a couple of issues. Some of them, humor-wise, have been quite good. I mean, I've heard good things about Kaiju Max, and Mega had some pretty cool moments, because it's set way after a lot of the exciting events that happen. But this one, it starts top loaded with a fight between some guy in a giant mech warrior suit fighting a kaiju, and it's fun and it's over the top. But it's also a guy who's clearly drunk, and having issues talking to the person through his radio comms about what's happening, and causing an awful lot of damage as well. It then kind of cuts through to day in the life of what we find out to be our main character, who you very quickly learn she is in a relationship with another woman, maybe married, I think, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. And it's oh, okay, this is interesting, but it very rarely, in fact, it doesn't come up. But you find out as she's going through her day, when her mother comes to visit, ostensibly to get her to come and help her brother out, the one who was drunk in charge of a mech warrior, that there is a lot of distance between the daughter and the parents. She does agree to help, but she's going to help because it's her brother who's in trouble and needs help. And my first thought was, is this because of the potential lesbian or bisexual or general queerness of the character? I don't know. They never tell you this. They leave it deliberately vague. And that is a good thing at this point, because kaiju-esque kind of stories are usually all about larger than life kind of things. They are bold and action packed and over the top to the point that it can sometimes get on my nerves a little bit. The fact that this one was dealing with subtlety was really quite nice. I'm going to show you a page of artwork here, because the artwork again has this kind of subtlety to it. But this is literally just 2 pages of people talking to each other. This is one of several double-page spreads where it is just people talking to each other. When I say day in the life, I really do mean that. It's somebody going to work and making food for their wife, girlfriend, I'm not too sure, because they had an argument, or it's them having the argument, or it's trying to have a conversation about the mother turning up that nobody was expecting. It's very down to earth, and the artwork supports that. I wish there was a little bit more detail when you do see the kaiju fighting the mech warrior thing earlier, because there is a kind of aesthetic that I think they're going for. If you look at the cover, sorry, put that a little bit too far out of reach there. The muscle car on there, I think when you see the detail again on the giant mech warrior, that kind of aesthetic crosses over. But I'd like to see a little bit more of it. There's a tease for the next issue, and it definitely looks like we are going to be getting a lot more detailing on what's going on. I mean, you can get the final page, you get to see that. But I wanted a little bit more than that. I don't know why that's what was interesting me. Weirdly, they don't tell you anything at all about why the giant monsters started attacking, or exactly how long it's been going on. Only that it has been going on for generations, and there are defenses set up in place. The Titans are the walls against them. There's one nice scene where you got the main character riding her car through the desert, and in the background in the city, there's a giant fight happening with a huge monster and a robot. And it just seems to be part of accepted life. Not in a Pacific Rim kind of thing where it's getting worse and it's certainly going to lead to the imminent destruction of all mankind. It just feels like they've had to create these robots because kaiju are a thing now, so let's just deal with it. And it's become almost like just a governmental kind of thing rather than heroic. These are the pilots. They're going to go off and be heroes and be on Lunchbox and all that kind of thing. You get from in-world TV news reportage, you get the impression that the government is just like, yeah, we're taking over this. It's easier to run this as just an extension of a public service like the fire department or the police department, rather than worry about like these epic warriors going off and dealing with this. It's like, no, they're just a problem. This is how we deal with them. But the subtlety of everything else that's going on makes the story worthwhile. The characterization makes it worthwhile. The dialogue makes it worthwhile. Weirdly, I got way more out of it than I thought I would, without really being too worried, other than on an aesthetic level, with giant monsters fighting giant robots. But still, it was fun. I just hope they can do better in the future. That's it from me today, though. Until I see you all tomorrow with a new review, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.